congrats on the round. What does it mean for you? What are you going to use that pile of cash for?
Thank you, my fine sir. I appreciate Bloomberg having me back. What am I going to use the money for? To continue to improve payments. We think Lightning Network and Bitcoin is some of the biggest and most broad stroke innovation in the history of payments. And there's a lot to do because it's one of the biggest industries in the world. So it's a cool moment. We're very proud of it, but we have our work cut out for us. And there's a lot to do to solve payments globally.
Jack, take me back to basics. What is the Bitcoin Lightning Network? I think it's like helpful for the audience to know what it is that it kind of underlines what your company does.
Yeah, so we're going to keep it simple, stupid. The Lightning Network allows Bitcoin to move instantaneously and at relatively no cost. And to the novice on the couch, you'd probably go like, wow, who's this kid in a hat? Why is that important? I don't care. Yeah, but you might care because Bitcoin is a digital instrument. It's actually value. It's globally recognized as value. And then the fact that it could move in real time and settle instantly is something that no payment network has ever been able to do in the history of payments. You have payments that actually take weeks to settle. They're very expensive to settle. They involve 2 to 10 parties. And the fact that Bitcoin could be digital, global, recognizable value and move at the speed of light and at relatively no cost, you have to put your thinking cap on and be like, I bet we can do a lot of cool stuff with that. And from a very high level, that's why the technology is fascinating. And that's why I founded the company, is because we got to use that technology and make it commercially viable for people in the real world to realize those benefits.
Jack, we focused a lot on the volatility in Bitcoin in recent months. I'm just looking at a one-year chart on my Bloomberg. But if you go from sort of June to where we are now, we've traded in a more narrow range of around 20,000 US dollars. We've called you a Bitcoin maximalist. You know, give us your take on what's happening with Bitcoin specifically.
Yeah, so I think what's interesting, when we think of Bitcoin and payments, we actually use it to escrow value, and we don't care about the volatility. So the services that my company offers, we allow you to move dollars over it or euros over it or any fiat currency over it. So volatility doesn't matter to our customers because our customers are never subjected to holding the actual asset. Now, as a Bitcoin holder, as someone who holds Bitcoin in my portfolio, I mean, what, you want to talk about Bitcoin? You want to talk about Netflix stock? Or you want to talk about the British pound? I mean, the macro environment's a little bit of a mess, and I'm happy to talk about it. But the real main point, this is the one I want to stick. The reason that Bitcoin is an attractive asset and it's an attractive money to hold, and it carries the properties that are enticing to someone that wants to store wealth in it, have not changed. And that's by design. No one can change them. And so the theory and the thesis on why Bitcoin is important to the world, and increasingly so is as profound and as sound as it's ever been, and it will always remain that way. And so I think Bitcoin's got nothing but time on its side. And as the macro environment kind of continues to play a game of Twista and figure itself out, Bitcoin's going to do its thing. It's very simple supply-demand metrics when you know that the supply is fixed and demand's the only thing that sets the price. So,
Jack, Bitcoin's going to do its thing. I think, you know, the other consideration we're always focused on are the regulators. And thankfully, Fed Chair Jerome Powell's been speaking about crypto. Let's have a listen.
We think that the central bank is and will always be the main source of trust behind money. Stablecoins essentially borrow that trust from the underlying issuer. And in many cases, these are dollar stablecoins. So they're really borrowing that trust.
Jack, I appreciate he was talking about stable coins in that example, but he's essentially saying that trust has to come from central banks. Your system and your thesis is kind of the opposite of that, right?
Yeah, trust has to come from central banks. The guy that runs the central bank didn't happen to say that, did he? I mean, come on, let me tell you something. I'm an individual, I'm an American. Trust and money comes from whatever I want my money to be held in and who I want to trust. That's not defined for anyone other than myself. It's democracy. I appreciate the comment, Mr. Powell, but I'm going to decide like who I trust and what assets I want to hold, unless that's all of a sudden illegal or now is frowned upon. So I don't know, that's my take. Listen, I like a system that's bounded to the physical realities of the world. Money cannot just be created out of thin air. Creating money cannot be free. What do I want the cost to create money? I really like a natural resources that's bound to the physical world like energy.
Right.
I think that that's an awesome way to understand who gets to create money, the expense to which and create it, and a programmatic adjustment in a distributed network to see how hard it is. So I don't know. I mean, call me crazy. I prefer something like that.
Right. Jack, we're running short of time, but I want to ask you, and I appreciate talking about the industry with you, but You've just raised money and you're a founder and you're a CEO. How difficult was that in this environment? Sort of crypto volatility aside, what was your experience of raising those funds?
Oh man, I mean, I'm 28 years old and I've learned so much. Listen, running a company is not easy, it's difficult. And building a business around making the world a better place is a really exciting challenge. So health is wealth. I've appreciated and enjoyed all of our experiences. We're a tremendously strong company,
Right.
and the future is really bright for us. And I don't know, what do you want me to say? I love my job. I love what I'm trying to do for the world, and I'm really excited about the years we got ahead.